It's raining on me. Okay.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. That's right, back on the grind. Well, for some of you, today is actually Labor Day. So if you do have the day off in the US, well, congratulations, you earned it. Not really a beautiful day out here in New York, but we will take it. Also, having a look, Bitcoin is up to $9,926. Now, in yesterday's video, we said, is this the calm before the storm? Well, you know, on Mondays, we tend to see the volume come back in, and we pumped to the upside. So you can see over here on futures, over on Bybit, we had this nice pump right here up to about 9,842, dip back down to 975, and now we are trying to break $10,000. So are we going to break $10,000 by the end of today? It's possible, but I do want to talk about something sort of short term that could affect, well, it could affect Bitcoin, and I do think it's going to affect the altcoins. Now, first of all, really quick, I do want to mention there was a massive buy wall over on Binance this morning, so it could have been spoofing, but probably was giving us sort of hints as to what was going to happen moving forward, right? But I do want to talk about that because the question is, you know, are we actually just starting the next parabolic bull run? Now, we've seen some people say this could be the fourth phase for Bitcoin's next parabolic blast off. That is possible. However, I do want to be realistic and show you guys something very important that we're going to have to pay attention to, and that's the fact that a lot of the volume that's coming in right now is not coming in from new money. In fact, it looks like it's either being sucked out of the altcoins or it's coming from stable coins. And I want to talk about why I think September could be a particularly rough month for the altcoins. Now, don't kill the messenger. You know, I'm just showing you the data. This is what I want to present. Let me know what you guys think. But if that sounds good to you, today is Monday, which means we are giving away the Ledger Nano S. If you're new to the channel, all you have to do is drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day. Let's dive in. Let's give it a quick refresh live. Now, the first thing that's jumping out is this 69.5% Bitcoin dominance. Now, this is over on CoinMarketCap, which we know does include a lot of illiquid coins, dead coins, right? So this number is arguably higher than this, but you can see we have a beautiful green day across the board. However, if we do switch it to the Bitcoin comparative, not all of the altcoins are keeping up with Bitcoin today. In fact, you're noticing a lot of them in the red. However, we do have some gainers today. Those gainers include Dragon Coins with $29,000 worth of volume. For the love of God, do not touch that coin, guys. You will get burned. We do have Grin up, though. 19%. Beam, what is this, like privacy thing? Grin and Beam? Something I didn't hear about the news. All the privacy coins are pumping right now. We have Engine, Wanchain, Synthetics, Ethereum, KuCoin, and MadeSafe all doing quite well. Bitcoin dominance up to 72%. I mean, we are just, in fact, this resistance has now actually become support, and Bitcoin is just legging up higher and higher and higher. And if we're not having new money come in, well, it can only be argued that that money is coming from the altcoins. We're going to get into that, though. I have some interesting charts. Look right here, $574 million of real 10 volume, still lower than what I would like to see, but better than what we saw over the weekend. You can see Bitcoin registered its lowest trading volumes in 5 months. I mean, man, was the weekend boring. I mean, I was just like staring at the charts like, come on, Bitcoin, do something, right? Well, Bitcoin finally did something. Fear and Greed Index, which I take with a grain of salt from now on because I don't know about that 5 that it put in the other day, but basically this is what we were looking at. You know, we had this wedge that was forming. You could check all the videos for the past 3 days. We've been looking at it and we broke out to the upside. So this actually was a bit of a bearish pattern, but you know those whales, they like to trick us and play their game. So if you guys were able to actually put in a little bit of a long here, congratulations. You probably made a nice little penny over there. Now, having a look, here's the interesting thing. Now, don't forget, we do have multiple descending sort of triangles here. The first one, we actually hit right here, and we touched right at that $9,923 level, and we instantly got pulled back. So, are we now going to crawl back down to those $9,300 levels? It is possible. However, if we zoom out, we obviously don't want to end up back in this downwards channel because that would just be really bearish, but I'm not bearish at all right now, by the way. Having a look, if we actually zoom out and look at the bigger channel, you're noticing that if we're actually able to break above this resistance from the smaller wedge, we would get back inside of this bigger wedge right here. But then again, you are noticing there is resistance pretty much right around the $10,158 level. So I would be looking maybe by September 5th to sort of be hitting some resistance. But if we blast through that, well, then the next levels would be upwards to about $11,000. And if we are finally able to break out of this, well, then I did talk about these higher levels, but those might be putting in some pretty good moves short term, right? But I don't want to get overly bullish just yet. I want to be very realistic about this because we are still sitting below the EMA ribbon. Now, it looks like it is slightly unwinding, which is good. I was worried about it becoming inverted yesterday because once it becomes inverted, that usually signals that we're going to start going the other way. And some people are still worried that what we're putting in right here is essentially just a smaller version of this massive 2018 bear market that we had, where we had this 50% plummet before, resuming the trend. So is that going to happen, or are we not going to do it this time and we're just going to go straight to the moon? Well, I do want to talk about that because you actually had Raoul Pal, who's been making a lot of waves lately. I've seen this dude all over the internet. There's been documentaries. There was a special that came out, right? So he's saying if you don't have any Bitcoin, then this looks like the last time to board the rocket ship. I love wedge patterns like this. They have a high probability of success. Good luck. There is a shit ton going on in macro land. And scrolling up here, Peter Brandt says possibility that Bitcoin has entered the fourth parabolic phase. So what do you think? Do you think that we are about to enter the fourth parabolic phase for Bitcoin? Or do you think, no way, we need more pain, we need more agony, we're not ready for the moon just yet? Let me know what you think below. But yeah, these guys are both saying that there is a potential for that blast off moving forward. And like our good old buddy, Anthony Pompliano said, Bitcoin is a non-correlated asymmetric asset. Looking at 1 day or 1 week or 1 month of performance is a fool's game. Look at the performance over quarters and over years. Now, you can see right here, now this is data from Pantera Capital. This was a recent thing they put out on Medium. And you can see Bitcoin compared to gold, global bonds, silver, US bonds, commodities, oil, etc. It is clearly not correlated. In fact, Bitcoin was getting a little bit of flack recently saying, oh, well, gold was going up and there was all this, global economic turmoil and Bitcoin wasn't reacting. Well, in one hand, people were saying, well, that shows that it's a failed asset, it's non-correlated. But on the other hand, Bitcoin being non-correlated is what makes it so attractive to savvy investors, right? It's the Wild West. It could go anywhere, right? So that is really the exciting part about it. And if you look at what Dan Moorhead, he is the founder of Pantera Capital, said recently, he said, in the 1980s, for example, most assets were relatively uncorrelated, right? But once modern day portfolio theory became popular, everyone wanted to have a diversified portfolio, but the irony is that they all ended up buying the exact same thing. Everybody followed the same trends, right? For example, although assets like oil and timber started by being uncorrelated, once products like Goldman Sachs Commodity Index became available, they started becoming basically correlated. So basically everybody out there owns the same thing. But you know what they don't own is Bitcoin. They do not own Bitcoin. So basically, you see when everyone owns the same thing, they all sell the same stuff during the crisis. So he goes on to say that blockchain and crypto is the only non-correlated asset and very few institutions own it. He refers to the 235% 8-year compound annual growth rate and says that this combined with the fact that Bitcoin, and stay with me guys, because I'm going to show you some charts. Bitcoin is a non-correlated asset means that you should own some. This is financial advice. I can't give financial advice, but this is financial advice from this dude. You should own some. And then if you check out episode 129 of Laura Shin's Unchained podcast, he said that if we were to look at a graph of Bitcoin logarithmically, we basically notice that it has this line. Now his line, this is the line that we've been looking at. They have a slightly different one. They say we initially published this forecast in January around when Bitcoin was $3,700. And you can see using price data during that time, Bitcoin grew around 235%. Now, this is the trend right here that they're talking about. So basically, whereas our trend that we had is basically acting more as support, I feel like their trend is more of resistance and they're looking to break it through. So you can see if we take their line, they are looking at a $42,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. We only have 4 months left, guys. That would be a pretty incredible pretty incredible, massive boom. I would have to say that. By 2020, they're looking at about 122K, and by 2021, they're looking at $356,000 per Bitcoin. So listen, I understand everybody's out there gambling in the altcoins, but why would you not want to own or try to own at least one of these things? Because I mean, look at this. If you can get $356,000 by 2021, that's not life-changing money. I would say for most people that is. You could buy like a ridiculously nice house for that price, but why would you want to do that though when you could travel the world and do so much more? But I mean, realistically speaking, if I look at ours, we're only looking at about, if we follow this chart and stay online, maybe about a $13,000, $14,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. But that's if we stay on the line. If we start to go parabolic like Peter Brandt suggests, then yes, we could see a much higher Bitcoin moving forward. Now, let's talk about fundamentally, companies such as Whole Foods and AT&T are now accepting Bitcoin. Microsoft has announced that it's building on the Bitcoin blockchain. We have Bakkt coming out, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. Also, Facebook's Libra project is garnering a fair amount of attention towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And you can see right here, Bakkt is looking to launch the 23rd of this month. Now, the 6th of this month, which is coming up very soon, you will be able to start depositing funds for their custody solution, right? Now, some people are saying, well, what's the difference between Bakkt? This is just a futures. They're just going to short it the same way that the CME did. Well, don't forget that they're physically settled. So it's not cash settled. You're going to actually have to physically use the Bitcoin itself, which should theoretically increase the demand moving forward, right? But let's talk about the altcoins. Why do I personally think, now this is just my opinion, I could be totally wrong, and in a month, come back to this video and go, you were wrong, K-Dub, I told you. But in my personal opinion, I think that the reason that we're seeing the altcoins, first of all, this was the trend line that they had been following ever since back basically on December 17th of 2018. And you can see the altcoins respected this. Even when they had their massive bubble up here and came down, they basically stayed on this line, but now they have fallen below it. So why is there such lack of interest, lack of faith in the altcoins? Well, having a look over here, number one, Bitcoin dominance is clearly skyrocketing. Now, when you're seeing these institutions coming in, you're seeing things like Bakkt coming in, okay? They are going to be looking at the top coins, the top coin itself being Bitcoin. They're not going to be going to page 4 and 5 of CoinMarketCap trying to get into these altcoin gems. No, they're going to want to get in the most liquid asset that crypto has, which is Bitcoin currently, okay? The second reason why is, and I'll tell you this straight up, I've gone in different, chats, I've gone on Telegram, different communities. People are very worried in the US about what is going to happen come September 12th. It is right around the corner, and Binance is no longer going to have US citizens on it, okay? We don't know which altcoins they are or are not going to support. They've put out a list, but it's just pure speculation. So you're seeing a lot of these US traders, US hodlers, dump their altcoins and go into Bitcoin for fear of, am I going to be able to sell my altcoin once, if the price does go up, or will it be so illiquid I won't be able to, right? So that is also something, but let me show you, that could just be pure speculation. Let's actually look at some raw data. Now, this is the money flow in crypto for the past 24 hours. You guys can find this over at coinlib.io. I'll drop it below if you're interested. And basically, essentially, it just shows you where the money's flowing. You can go over here, Litecoin flowing into Bitcoin, Bitcoin flowing into Ethereum, Bitcoin flowing into Tether, right? But this is the thing I wanted to point out. If we come down here and we look at just US dollar moving into Bitcoin, in the past 24 hours, we only saw $232 million of US dollars moving into Bitcoin, whereas we saw $1.5 billion worth of Tether. So this is USDT. Now, assuming that this isn't Tether that's coming in from China, these guys are converting, right? This is telling me that this is not new money. This is not new retail investors. This isn't new people coming into the space. This is money that was either A, sitting on the sidelines on Tether, waiting for a good opportunity to buy in, or B, people capitulating and selling their altcoins and riding the Bitcoin wave. And you can see right here, the chart clearly shows you that the majority is not coming fresh fiat. Okay, it's not fresh fiat coming into the system. So this does worry me a little bit and makes me wonder, is this more manipulation? It's possible. I really would like to see more addresses on the network and more fresh capital coming in. When do I personally think that's going to happen? Honestly, I don't think we're really going to see that next massive boom until we break the all-time high, which would be that psychological 20K, right? So that's the situation moving forward. And like I said, guys, these new institutions, and let's be real, Bitcoin's the household name. You know, if somebody's going to invest into this space for the first time ever, they're going to go with the one that they think is the safest, right? And even though Bitcoin is volatile, you know, some people would argue that it's the safest of the cryptos to invest in, right? Also, more fundamental news, you can see right here, Argentina has actually reimposed capital controls that are now limiting their citizens and business freedom to buy foreign currency. So basically, Argentina has actually shown an affinity for Bitcoin in recent times, with trade volumes accelerating as uncertainty around the economy has grown. And, you know, you can see right over here on local Bitcoins, if you have a look, you know, for example, above my head, Australia really saw its peak during that speculative ICO bubble, whereas you see a place like Argentina is actually seeing the biggest need for crypto and Bitcoin right now, okay? Because obviously, if you have a look at what's been going on with the peso, it's not doing quite well. In fact, since August 12th, it's down 34% compared to the dollar. So this is showing that the demand for Bitcoin is rising. In fact, you have Preston Byrne, he's a cryptocurrency-friendly attorney, responding to Argentina imposing currency controls. Buy Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin, you know? Also, talking about Yves Mersch, executive board member at the European Central Bank, he's actually warned of the threat posed by Facebook's Libra. Now, I'm only bringing this up because people are like, yeah, but we got Libra, right? We could just use Libra. Yeah, well, it's not looking too good for it. I mean, they say Libra could reduce the ECB's control over the euro, impair the monetary policy transmission mechanism by affecting the liquidity position of euros, area banks, and undermine the single currency's international role, which is interesting because even when we were seeing all of these hearings regarding Facebook, most people were actually Congress was actually a lot more positive in regards to Bitcoin than they were to Libra, because Libra is very centralized, where Bitcoin is censorship resistant, which, although that may impose a bit of a threat, is a lot more friendly than giving full control to Mark Zuckerberg, right? So that's that situation moving forward. We also have Philippine boxer Manny Pacquiao. I always forget how to pronounce his name. Anyway, he's unveiled his own self-branded cryptocurrency known as PAC. The PAC token will be available on Singapore's global crypto offering exchange, GCOX. Now, this is a lot different than when Floyd Mayweather was promoting the ICO. He actually had to pay money for that because he was not really abiding by the laws. But anyway, the PAC cryptocurrency will basically be a utility token and will be primarily used by the fans of the boxing champion to purchase his merchandise and get special access to him on social media. We also have 5 men in the Indian state of Kerala have been arrested for allegedly torturing the head of a failed $62.5 billion investment scheme. So apparently Abdul Shakur, 35, he had some kind of an investment scheme where he raised around $62 million. The business apparently failed. People got angry, and they assumed that he may have lied about a hack and had money on a ledger or something. So these guys went to go beat him up to get his private key. They ended up killing the guy. So this is a pretty sad situation. This is really scary when you do think about it. You hear about these guys attacking these rich Bitcoin owners and stuff, I mean, obviously, if you're a Bitcoin whale out there, I wouldn't be bragging about how much money you have. You just become a target, essentially, right? So, obviously, be careful out there. We also have Thailand exchange Bitcoin Company Limited shutting down. They didn't give a reason why. I don't know if it had to do with low volume or whatnot, but that's unfortunate for anybody trading in Thailand. And also, just to let you guys know, IRS expands penalties, which tax mistakes are better not to commit. Most of these refer to people that are have entities offshore and things like that. They don't really pertain to most, I guess, just average retail investors. But if you are concerned about this, don't play around with the IRS, guys. Always pay your taxes. Check this out. Read this. Okay, I'll drop that below. But yeah, speaking of, money laundering and all that, guys, latest news, fiat is used in money laundering 800 times more than crypto. I'm not even going to go into this because I think we already know this, but just to entertain the fact, I'm going to drop it below. And also, today is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. So we had 7 videos last week, so let us do out of 7, generate, so yesterday's video. So anybody that watched yesterday's video, you are eligible. So for anybody that's a new subscriber and you dropped a comment, well, someone's going to win a Ledger Nano S. So let's go to yesterday's video, pause this right here. All right, go over to the random comment generator. This is for the Ledger Nano S. We have 810 unique comments. Wow. All right. Drum roll, please, for the ledger. Get your crypto off exchanges, guys. Got to be safe, right? That kid walks funny. Where is he going? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the kid flipping in the beginning of the video. Michael Angelos. Well, he was going nowhere, actually, which was why I used it, because Bitcoin was going nowhere yesterday. It was just tumbling around. So you are the winner, Michael Angelos. Thank you so much. So, if you want to get a hold of me, do not answer any random emails or scammers, or there's always guys out there. The only places to get hold of me, my official about section, which is my email, or you could join the Telegram group, which is absolutely free below, and you are today's winner. So congratulations. Also, thank you so much to everyone who's been coming back to the channel, everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. So yeah, altcoin trading has been a little bit rough lately. Altcoins have been taking a hit. You've been noticing the majority of people have been trading using, derivatives, margin trading, and things of that nature. So definitely be safe out there, guys. But if you are looking to trade on margin, I do recommend Bybit. Personally, I do have a tutorial you can check out. I have a link below in the description. If you use the link, it does help support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it allows me to continue to bring you all of this free content every single week. Thank you so much. Please be safe. Don't be using 50, 100x leverage, okay? Be smart. But I love you guys.